Sorry ass DJ.
Hey everybody, how you doing out there? John Franklin, movie reviewer, is back off of his vacation and ready to kick some ass here in 2026. Well, fingers crossed, I hope I do. I'm sure you guys want to know how my vacation was, and it was actually pretty good. It was nice and relaxing. I tried my best more times than not to not be watching YouTube, but there were times I still watched, a lot of it some days, and there were other days I was just relaxing or maybe brainstorming ideas that I want to do for other franchises, possibly a decent amount of one and done here. Hopefully that things will go very well for me here this year. Well, we shall see. So I am actually going to be doing what I promised probably back in December about doing the Nightmare on Elm Street, ranking the victims' deaths here. Now, if you're actually newer and this could be one of your first videos on something like this here, last year in 2025, I did the Friday the 13th and the Halloween movies. If you do actually enjoy what I'll be talking about here in this first Freddy Krueger, taking out the victims' deaths in that one there, and you want to go back and check out the other ones, that's awesome. If you do enjoy, be very cool if you'd like to subscribe, like, give me a comment if you really like it. Going with the Nightmare on Elm Streets here, got my notes here for the very first one. We have 4 that we're going to be talking about. I will definitely be kind of curious, what did you think about the deaths? How would you actually rank these if you would like to, from worst to best here? And when it comes to the kills, I will say 3 out of 4 of them are really, really good. I don't know if people will match up with mine, maybe my number 4, but other than that, I feel like the other ones could be all over the place. Well, let's get ourselves started. My number 4 is actually going to be Nancy's mom. Now, the strange thing about this one with her death here is, of course, she's the last one to actually die, but there's more to actually talk about other people before we even get to her death. So after Nancy wakes up from her dream, believing that maybe she is crazy when she thought that she may have pulled Freddy into the real world, where it turned out that she actually did. And then after we get through kind of those booby traps, almost grabbed Nancy because she was at the front door, she ends up in the basement. We see Freddy going down, and he's looking around, and he can't find her. And I don't know exactly what Nancy had. Maybe it was carousel, I don't know. But she was actually able to throw it at Freddy there and eventually be able to actually put him on fire. So she actually runs up the steps. So he's trying to go up the steps, trying to open up the door. Nancy ends up knocking him down the steps. Nancy is actually, I think, in the living room, and she breaks some glass out of the window, and she actually ends up screaming for her dad. And there's another cop there and say, you know what, I better go get the chief or the captain. The dad finally shows up with a couple other cops there and saying, like, what's going on, honey, and all that, and saying, Fred Krueger's actually here. And while the cops are kind of scattered around a little bit around the house, Nancy notices that there were footsteps, and there are, of course, a little bit of fire on the floor there, and she actually notices that Freddy ran upstairs to Nancy's mom's room, and Nancy gets herself up there along with her dad, that the mom's in the bed, Freddy's on top, still on fire there. And next thing you know, the father actually puts a cover over Freddy and then moves the cover, and Nancy's thinking, oh my God, he's right there. But it actually turned out it was just the mom, and she's pretty much a skeleton right now, and she slowly goes down inside her bed there, and then she actually waves. I've always thought that was kind of silly. Number 3 is going to be Glenn. He's actually in bed. He actually has earphones on. He actually has the TV on. Actually, I think it's on mute. He's actually somewhat sleeping, so his mother comes in and wakes him up, and he's actually waiting for like Miss Nude, Miss America, or what exactly it actually kind of is there. And the mother's like, well, you got your earphones on, and the TV is like very low. How are you going to hear what she says? And Glenn's like, well, who cares what she says? And it's like, the mother's like, well, if you're really not going to watch it, get to bed very soon here. So she actually leaves. And I believe that he actually closes his eyes again. We get Freddy's claw in his arm and actually yanks Glenn down inside his bed, but like a little hole, not the whole thing that happened with Nancy's mom. And then he goes down and you get the big gushing blood, which is very cool. The thing was, I did like that. I thought it was really cool, but it never actually felt like it was an accident, because that's how Freddy was actually kind of doing something like that there. So that was one thing why I had to put him at number 3, but still a damn good death. Number 2 is going to be Rod. So after Rod is actually in prison there, you get Nancy, who has a dream. She's actually outside the police station and she sees Rod is just sleeping there like a baby. And then all of a sudden here comes Freddy coming through the bars there, and she's like, oh my God, and trying to wake up Ron, but of course this is all a dream. But Freddy sees her and starts laughing. She actually wakes up. Next scene, her and Glenn are actually running into the police station there and trying to get to Rod. Of course, the cop's not exactly being very friendly to her. Her dad's actually there. They finally eventually get down there. And while that's going on, we got a cover movie, and eventually it actually wraps around Rod's neck there and drags him, and the cover goes up and he goes outside the window, like it looks like he's about to hang himself. And then the cops actually are eventually able to get themselves in, get into the jail cell there and get to him, but his neck unfortunately is already broken. And the reason why I do like this one over Glenn is the suspense that we really get there. I almost wanted to put this at number 1 here because I like that one so much there. But number 1 will actually be Tina here, the very first one that actually gets killed here. So when we actually get with her is that she's actually sleeping, and the next thing you know, we hear a dog barking. She's in the kitchen. She turns on the light. She actually goes outside, can't find the dog, and then somehow she ends up from her backyard into the alleyway there. Then this is where we get that famous scene with Freddy Krueger saying the whole "this is God" and chasing her. That she eventually does run back into the house there, and then she actually starts making noises, and now Rod is actually with her sleeping. He actually gets freaked out there. I believe he pulls the covers, and it's like she's just almost like having a seizure. And then we actually get her being flying up in the air. We actually get the claw mark on her chest there. She's up in the air, she's swinging around. She even actually almost kind of headbutts Rod onto the floor there, and then she's crawling up the wall there, up on the ceiling there, and then the next thing you know, Freddy just lets her go and just drops her into the pool of blood on the bed there. Some blood spits onto Rod there, and I really did like her death. Well, there you guys go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this this ranking. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next Ranking the Victims' Deaths. Have yourselves a good one. Bye.